man. Man, I wish I could get in this place. Somebody let me in. How can you laugh when you know I'm down? How can you laugh? Hey, there's somebody. Hey, Brian Severson, how you doing? Thanks so much for all your help with that stuff with Tom Shaka, man. He really likes you. He was telling me how cool you are, and I concur. But hey, guys, check this out. So this is a storage unit. I believe it's called Canyon Gate Mini Storage. I've been reading a lot about the story down here in Las Vegas. This is Sahara Avenue going west and going east out this direction. Beautiful day. And I'll tell you why I'm here in just a second. By the Mercedes dealership. Man, these Vegas businesses are really losing their butts out here, man. But freaking beautiful day, huh? Big empty lot, Sahara Avenue. Absolutely love the weather down here. It's outstanding. But the reason I'm here, there's an old case from 1998, well, 2001, about a person named Brookey Lee West, who basically, she was the police believe, and she's still alive, she's in prison. I believe it's called Florence Women's Center, Correctional Center, and I forgot to look to see where that is, but it's probably here in Nevada. And police believe that she was a serial killer. In 1998, her mother disappeared, and she just kind of very weakly, in 2000, actually it was around the time she gave a lot of weak excuses about why her mother was missing. Her mother and her father had a lot, they're pretty abusive. Her mother was an ailing older woman with dementia and had a history of pretty serious alcohol abuse for a lot of years. And her father got her into witchcraft, basically Satanism, witchcraft, killing small furry woodland creatures, it sounds like. And he was pretty nasty dude, and he died sometime in 1998, and then the mother disappeared too. Brookey Lee was actually a wealthy technical writer. She'd made a lot of money at some point in her life, but she ended up living with her mother by the late 90s in Las Vegas. And anyway, her brother disappeared. Let me see, was it her brother that was found? No, her brother disappeared. Never found him, and she claimed that he was living in California in the Santa Clara area, and that he could verify the story she explained to police about her missing mother. And this is in 2001. What the point of this being here? This storage center, her mother, in February 5th of 2001, she was found in a garbage can inside the storage unit, actually 317, which I believe is around the corner over here. That's why I'm trying to get in here, because I want to see it, but nobody's coming by. But she was found in a garbage can that had been sealed up super tight with duct tape, in an attempt to really seal it airtight. She'd been missing since '98. February of 98, actually, and she was found in 2001, of February 5th, and she was discovered, you know, from this just horrible stench coming out of her unit. Turns out that her mother had been suffocated and gagged with a plastic bag that was cinched around her head. And she was found in the storage unit right around the corner there, which, oh shit, here comes some people, maybe they'll let me in. But anyway, her brother went missing too, and her husband, she married a Native American guy here in Vegas, and her husband, let me see, what year was that? 90, I think it was a little bit earlier than that, more like 96. He was found in Springville, California, shot in the back of the head with a .32 pistol, which she had already shot him before with. I think in 94, she shot him in the neck. They were drinking and fighting, and the guy survived, and they reconciled, and he dropped the charges against her. Can you believe that shit, man? Crazy. And then a year later, he turns up missing in Springville, California. Anyway, in 2012, she tried to escape from this correctional center, which I believe is down south of here by an area called Prim. And she actually tried to walk out the front doors of the prison and actually got outside the building. She just walked right out the front doors, and then somebody came to their senses and went, oh shit, she's missing, and they ran out and found her as she was just like walking down the highway trying to get the hell out of her. But she's obviously very clever. She had made a lot of money at some point in her life being a technical writer, you know, like textbook kind of stuff. And so I'm not real sure, but apparently what the deal was, when her mother disappeared, she had a really toxic, codependent relationship, living with her mother in an apartment here in Las Vegas. I'm going to find that soon. I'm going to do a whole video on this story, man. It's incredible. And her, what was the deal? Oh yeah, her mother and her lived together, and she just despised her mother, and her mother despised her. Just completely toxic stuff. But she wanted to keep collecting her mother's Social Security checks. That old story, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna get back in here someday. Maybe I'll call in the owner of this place into giving me a tour so I can get some video. But I'm not get a storage unit. Or I'll just wait here long enough until somebody drives up and opens the gate. But I believe she was right around the corner. And that's one place. I'll have to come back here, but there's another one I was thinking about showing you guys. I found out where Dana Plato lived and the store she robbed. And by the way, it's really trippy. All this stuff is right around where I live. Sahara Avenue. Let's check it out. What's up, everybody? You notice how I carefully didn't show you what kind of hoopty I drive, you know? I was very careful about that. Oh, everybody's almost gone. I can talk a little bit louder. I'm in the car. But I was going to do a couple of things today. But I think I'll show you guys where Dana Plato lived and tried to rob a video store in 1991. Very famously. She was basically just looking for money to score drugs, you know? You know, who knows what she was doing? Probably like Oxy, you know, or some sort of opiate related pills, Oxys or Percocets or something. Probably Coke. But she lived right up here off Sahara, and I'll show you where she worked too as a trip. She worked in a dry cleaning store, right? Bug out. She worked at, you know, like minimum wage at a dry cleaners. You know, this is Dana Plato from Different Strokes. She was Kimberly, the older sister. Anyway, she lived right up here in this area called the Lakes, which is up past the stoplight on the left a little bit, and I'll show you everything. She was jonesing for drugs bad, man, apparently. And I read this whole thing on her recently. I'm going to do another video on this one too. But she was asking her landlord at this apartment complex that she lived at, and I don't know which one she was in, but we're going to get to the bottom of all this stuff. You know, saying, hey man, can I clean up around here? Can I pick up trash in the parking lot? That sort of thing, to earn some money. And the lady said, oh, we don't got anything for you, Dana. And Dana went away, and apparently about 15 minutes later, she walked. Actually, I think she drove, because it's very close. She could have walked, but she drove up to this video store that was really close to her apartment complex in this little strip mall area. Let's see, is this it? Nope, next one, shit. And went into the video store. You remember when video stores were popular back in like 91? You know, from like 1985 until, you know, shit, 2008 or so. You know, video stores were all the rage, man. Even Blockbusters were still around. But she robbed this video store with a pellet gun. She went in there with a pellet gun. The girl who she stuck the pellet gun in her face called 911, and there's a famous 911 audio. I'm going to do a video on this whole thing. I got to find all that stuff. But she said, hey, I just got robbed by the girl who played Kimberly Drummond on Different Strokes. True story, right? And so she was immediately picked up. You know, I mean, it was just super quick. This is kind of down where she lived. I'll show you. And, you know, they picked her up immediately because, you know, I mean, it took them 2 seconds to figure out that was Dana Plato. Looked up her, you know, looked on the database for the police, and they found her instantly. She got picked up, and she was just put on probation because it was her first offense. They let her go, and it was pretty embarrassing. You know, she ended up going on a local radio station a ton. Wayne Newton, the singer, actually put up $13,000 for bail and got her out when she was arrested. Now this is the shopping center. I'll show you that in a second, but let me show you where she lives. Wayne Newton himself, he took some mercy on her, I guess, and put up the 13 grand. And oh shit, maybe this is a bad idea. And you know what? Coincidentally, I swear this is true. Holy shit! Look at that thing. I was down here messing around looking for her apartment, which is in this complex, the other day. I swear this is true. And some guy that looked exactly like Flavor Flav, and I think a lot of celebrities around here, actually, because it's a nice area for a good price. For guys like Flavor Flav that probably aren't, you know, really killing it like they were back in the 80s, you know, they can still live pretty nice. He totally was like in a black Cadillac Escalade, big crazy bling smile, big gold rings on his knuckles, totally freaking out on me because I pulled out a little soon. He was really making a big deal out of it, and I could see his face, and I swear to God it was Flavor Flav. And I met him before at West High in Salt Lake City because his brother actually worked at the same high school I worked at, if you can believe that. It's totally insane. I'm gonna have to flip a Yui here. It says no Yui. No cop, no stop. Traffic signs, like I've said before, just kind of a suggestion, man. You know, in the mortal words, mommy, of Michael Douglas. Okay, I won't flip a Yui right now, god damn it. But I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna flip one right here. So what's the diff? Any of you guys ever like pull into a gas station or something and cut the corner and bounce over into the next street? This is some kind of fun stuff. But yeah, we'll go to Kimberly's house real fast, and then I'll show you the store that she attempted to well, she did. She robbed it, and I think she ended up Actually, I don't remember, but it was like $100-something, not very much, like $110 or something. She was bailed out by Wayne Newton, and then there was a local radio station that hired her, gave her some money to come on the air, and they sent her out to do a lot of interview stuff, you know, just locally, you know, just like one of those smart-ass radio stations, you know, like Howard Stern used to do his Stuttering John thing, where he would send this guy who stutters out to ask celebrities really embarrassing questions, you know. I mean, it's hilarious, but, you know, it's really tacky. But they did that, and they said that they never got the impression that she was on drugs at that time. But she was on probation also, and she was probably having to pee in a cup a lot. So it's likely. But the poor chick, man, she just didn't greet or entertain. Does he really? Well, I don't know. You know, I mean, I'm sure he's... yeah, you know, his brother... This is the complex, by the way. I don't know which one she lived in. But this is where Dana Plato lived. And she was trying to drum up some extra money through the landlord who she was friends with and still lives in the area. And I probably will call and you know, just really kind of flesh this whole case out with a new location video on Captain Borax. If ever you're bored, take a look at my YouTube channel, Captain Borax, true crime location tours. I do interviews, just different things. And with this whole coronavirus, I'm bored to death. Well, I wouldn't say bored, but I mean, I have plenty of things I'm doing, but I got to take a break from those things, like my book, that Bundy book, which I have to finish, which is coming along beautifully. Just because I have freaking hundreds of hours of interview stuff from people that were involved in the case or knew him. But this is it. This is where Kimberly Drummond lived in Las Vegas, just off Summerlin in an area called the Lakes. And it's clear they've recently painted this. See how that's that dark blue trim against that gray? I was here just maybe 3 months ago and it was still that color. So they're doing this painting right now. Wow, nice dumpster. Classy. I remember going to Mexico one time and I drove by a dumpster like that and it had like fish heads falling out of it, and I was like, oh, mommy. Oh, those poor little chickens, look at them. They look so sad. Someone's got to put little cowboy hats on them like they were doing for a while. Although that was kind of cruel. I think if people were gluing them on their heads, that's not cool. But I thought they were cute. Anyway, Dana Plato, she was living here while she attempted to rob that video store just right up the street, and I'll show you that. No idea which one yet, but I'm gonna get to the bottom of that. It's coming up. How the hell do I get out of here? I hate these kind of complexes. They're just so big and impersonal. Man, dumpsters it's a dumpster clot. It's like the attack of the dumpsters, man. They're just starting to formulate in the they're coming to get you, man. Look, there's a couple more. Oh my God. They do look kind of nasty. So yeah, more to come on that. In 1991, this is where Dana Plato was living, just off of Sahara Avenue and West Sahara, kind of up towards Mount Charleston, that area, if you've ever been to Vegas. I'm kind of new to the area, actually. I haven't even been here a year, but I'm slowly getting a flow for it. So I'll take you where she worked, too, by the way. Well, let me show you the store she tried to rip. What the hell are they doing there? But no, I swear to God, it was totally Flavor Flav. I mean, because he stopped. I looked at him for a full 30 seconds while he was like banging his fists on the dashboard and screaming at me. I was like, geez, man. Take it easy, buddy. Take it easy. You really are a public enemy, man. He's the enemy of the public. Okay, so this is it. Yeah, this is called the Lake Mini Market. No, so this isn't it. I'm sorry. Let me back up. This was here then, but that's not it. It was actually over here. So you can see that. I mean, how far away do you think that is? COVID with the GIMP mask. Yeah. Well, what makes you think I haven't been, buddy? This is it right here. 2928. This was, I can't remember the title of the video store, but I have all that stuff back at home. This is it. Mojave Skin and Cancer Billing Office. But there's some video. They have these video vaults from Channel 8 out here. There's some security dude over here. Where were you that day, man? What the fuck, dude? You should have been here when Dana Plato was all strung out. But this is it. This is the place. And the girl who was running the store said, "Yeah, I just got robbed by Kimberly Drummond." That's it. Hilarious, huh? Let's dip out the backside. Poor Dana. You know, I mean, I'm not making fun of her. She was clearly having a bad life at that time there for a while. She ended up dying. Let's say here's the back door for 2928. It's where that video store girl came out and probably smoked. But that's it. She ended up dying in Oklahoma in, oh my goodness, what was it, 1991? She was the guy that she was engaged to. I think they were seeing her, or I'm sorry, his in-laws, or his parents, and she was staying in a trailer park, and I don't know if that belonged to them. But she basically just overdosed, or died of heart failure. I can't remember the details on that, but more to come on that. And then, sadly, very, very sadly, she was only, I think she was only 34 years old too, in 1999, when she passed away in Oklahoma in that trailer. But very, very sadly, 10 years later, her son killed himself too. He committed suicide, shot himself. And he also had some extreme drug issues. So, I mean, I say all this stuff, and there's so many details that we really don't understand, and that's why I think it's really fun and important to talk to people involved in these cases. And if you're ever bored, check out my Captain Borax channel. I've done a load of stuff on there, and I'm working on a Ted Bundy book that's coming along great. It looks beautiful. Maybe that's what it was. She was in an RV. Maybe that's what it was. I need more info on that, more data, Jerry. But yeah, it could have been. Yeah, it was in Oklahoma, and I don't know that she was living there. I believe that she was just visiting. She was just kind of going through with the guy she had, was engaged to, apparently. And very, very sad life. She said that she got hooked into alcohol abuse during the filming of Different Strokes way back in the old days. By the time the show was over, I think it was 1984 when the show wrapped up. Again, I'll find more stuff on this, but she couldn't catch a break after that. I mean, she was just kicking around. She got engaged to a guy, a musician who was, I don't want to say a famous musician, but he was somebody that was kind of, one of those dudes from kind of the 80s hair band thing out in LA. And that was the guy that she had her son with, and they didn't, that didn't work out long term, but that was her ex-husband. Very sad stuff. But yeah, I believe, I'm gonna go find it real fast, but she worked at a dry cleaners down here. I believe it was on Desert Inn. This is Desert Inn in Durango, if you know Vegas. Oh, is that what it was? Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. She was pregnant during different strokes. That's right. And that's right. They didn't want to use her because, you know, they didn't want, you know, they wanted to protect the innocent family values of the show, and, you know, showing a you know, a 17-year-old pregnant Kimberly wasn't what they were trying to send a message of. They didn't know how to. Apparently, you know, she was showing pretty strongly, so they let her go. But I think the show wrapped up. Come on, these lights are satanic out here. But you know, in 1991, by this time, I think she had landed here in the late 80s. She was working at a dry cleaners down here. And if I can't find it in a second, I'll find it, and I'll pop off, find it, and then find it back up. But I'm pretty sure it's just right down here. I'll know it when I see it. You know, everybody was like, everybody, you know, her customers, you know, I mean, can you imagine, you drop your stuff off to get dry cleaned, you know, and the girl behind the counter is Kimberly from Different Strokes. Can you imagine? That's pretty wild, man. We're going on the 10th anniversary of Coleman's death. Yeah, no doubt, right. Hey, Jerry, did I ever, if you look on Captain Borax on the Facebook page, when my friends John and his wife Allie were in town in December, we went up and did a Ted Bundy tour in Utah. And then when we were coming back from Fairview Canyon, where Debbie Kent was found, or her bone was found, I should say, her knee bone, we just decided, for the hell of it, to stop by Gary's house. And there was a lady shoveling her driveway. So I said, "Hey, how are you? Gary's house, right?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Is there any way I could get a peek inside?" And she let us inside, and I snuck a pic of the staircase that he fell down. You know, that famous 911 thing, you know, which really precipitated his death, really. But I have a picture of that. It's on the Captain Borax Facebook page if you're ever bored. Take a look at that. But very interesting house. It was trippy seeing the inside of it, because you could see the layout why Gary liked it. Big inner living room area. And it was kind of creepy because the lady had like young kid toys like laying around the place, and you know, I just had this weird vision of Gary running around in a little engineer's hat, yelling "choo choo," you know, with his trains. I mean, I tell you, it was really creepy. Yeah, look for it, man. It's on there somewhere. I think I put it on the Death Hags page too. It's a one. If you can't find it, let me know. I'll send it to you. But as soon as I took the picture, the lady kind of went, "I wish you didn't do that." And I was like, "Oh, it's too late." It was funny, but she, you know, she was a sweet lady to let us in. By the way, if anybody is interested, I have these new Captain Borax patches, and they look beautiful. If you send me a message, they're really nice. They're high quality patches that I had designed and made. My wonderful friend Tom Shaka from Kansas City, the artist, did the artwork on this. Incredible artwork. If you ever get a chance, look him up. SCIACCA, Shaka. He did this design, and we worked together with these patch people. I am giving these away free. Private message me your address, and I'll send you one. I've already sent about 25 off to people, but no problem, folks. Send me your address. I think they look awesome. They're kind of that Vegas, what do you call it, the Raiders color. There's, you know, the new huge Raiders stadium that they're building here. Eventually I'm going to put some stickers together, some different things like that for these. But yeah, hit me up. I'll send you one. No charge. You know what? I'm wondering if it's actually down the next street, which I think is Flamingo. I think it is. I'll just bounce over there real fast. I'll come down to the end here and I'll find it on the way back up. But yeah, she worked at the dry cleaner just right down here. And I believe it was off Flamingo. This is Desert Inn. It was Desert Inn. I don't know. It's in a shopping center. Yeah, he was big into the choo-choos. There was a railroad choo-choo, you know, toy train shop in Salt Lake City that I've been in a couple of times. It's gone now. The business is dead. They folded, but that guy told me that Gary was in there all the time. He lived in Santaquin, Utah, which is a little town between Fillmore, Utah. Well, I don't even think down that far. It was by Payson, which is just south of Spanish Fork, Provo. Probably about 20 miles down the road from Spanish Fork, or Provo, maybe 20 miles. 10 miles from Spanish Fork and about 5 miles from Payson. You know what, man? Yeah, I actually found that room. Hey, what's up, Jay? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you on here, man. Yeah, I actually found that room. I put some pictures of the outside of the door on the Facebook page too, and I actually got to see inside it for a second because I tricked this maid into opening it up and let me peek in there. But when I got in there, you know, you could tell it was obvious there was somebody staying there. So I was like, oh, I better not walk in there. But no, I found that. I did find that, yeah. And I actually, you know, I don't know how much she really likes me anymore, but I actually know the person that was with John when he died. You know, she's a nice lady, but she got really upset when she found out I was looking for that room. She's very emotionally torn up about the whole Entwistle thing because she was with him when he died, you know. And I get that, you know, and I didn't want her to feel exploited by that, but she told me a little bit about it, about the situation, you know. John Entwistle had a pacemaker, and he was doing cocaine and drinking and smoking cigarettes. You know, probably not a good idea. To be doing cocaine with a pacemaker, you know. That's a beautiful church. Yeah. But, sorry, I'm looking for Dana Plato's work, and I think it's right over here. Yep, there it is, right there. I knew it was down the street. Okay. So, yeah, it's Flamingo. I'll bounce out of here and go downtown a little bit, too, if anybody wants to see that. If anybody's even on here. Yeah, that's good, Jay. I'm glad to hear it, man. Feeling all right? This COVID thing is trippy, man. It's making people really, really weirded out. This is it. This is where Dana Plato worked. Thrift Deluxe, that's right. This is where she worked. And you know, as the crow flies, you just go right up Flamingo, take a right on Durango, bounce right over to her house, her apartments. But this is it. You know, when are they going to start doing like those masks, you know, blinging them out, like putting little rubies and stones on them and stuff? You know, I think that's like the next thing. This is going to be like the new thing. You know, people are going to be trying to make them sexy and stuff. Yeah, this is where Dana Plato lived. This is where she worked, making minimum wage, basically. Just off of Flamingo. West Flamingo Fluff and Fold. I just bought this awesome pink flamingo in Mexico. It's beautiful. It's this sheet metal thing that somebody welded and put together, and it's three-dimensional. And it probably sits about 3 feet off the ground. Beautiful. $20 in Ensenada, Mexico. It's wonderful. I'll show you some pictures of that later. This is it, man. You'd pull up, go in there. Dana would be in there. Let's look a little closer. Eventually, I'm going to be putting together a proper video on this, and probably the Brookey Lee West thing too. She would have been working behind the counter right there. Uh-oh. She's going to yell at me. Hi. Hey, how's it going? I'm not doing anything weird. I'm just videoing the Dana Plato thing.
What?
Dana Plato? You know about that? Do you work here? She was the girl from Different Strokes.
Oh, that's the girl that used to work here, and yeah, I know about it.
Yeah. What do you, I mean, do you know any stories about all that, or?
Not really. I mean, I've heard a little, but my coworkers know better ones.
Yeah.
And she won't be here until we get back to normal hours.
Right.
I think she actually, I don't know if she used to work with me. I have 2 coworkers. The manager has been here for 30 years. She'll be here on Monday. She's been here for 30 years, so she might know.
She might know,
Are
yeah.
you recording me right now?
Oh, yeah, it's a Facebook Live thing. Don't worry about it. Nobody's going to see it, except my friends.
Anyways, great. So, yeah, the manager, she's here. She's been here for over 30 years, and the other lady, she's been here for 15 years, so they know
Okay.
that better than I do. I've only been here a year.
You think they'd be willing to chat with me about it, or?
They have time.
Okay. I'm a journalist. I just do stuff like that. Thank you.
I'm an entertainer, so I get paid for my commentary.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So if you want more.
All right. I'll bring the money. She was cool. People in Vegas are really cool. You know, I gotta say, I like this town. People are very friendly. You know, and everybody's a hustler, like that girl. I mean, I have no idea what she does for entertainment, but that's funny. But everybody's got to hustle out here, so people know how to talk to people, you know. It's fun. Anyway, I got another idea. I could show you guys something else pretty cool if you're interested. I will take you, let's see, that was Desiree. Let's go down Desiree. I'll take you over to Sonny Liston's house and show you the site casino where the Sam Rothstein house was. I did a video on this recently, and I found out a lot of fun stuff since then. But anyway, how you doing, Lori? Everything good out there in good old Sonora? I need to take a trip up to Sonora. I'm afraid to leave the state though, because you know, just the lockdown stuff. I don't want to go to California and get stuck there. You know, I mean, I love California, and a great place to be stuck, but, you know, it'd just be frustrating to not be able to get home if I needed to, you know what I mean? Because I got the time off. I'm a school teacher, and they've shut down everything until April 30th. A buzzkill, man. April 30th, they got this place locked up. At least the school district. And I got this wonderful school job. I'm so happy. I just really, really enjoy the people I work with. My boss, the kids, everybody's great. My assistant, Mrs. T. Mrs. T is an awesome lady. She's been a wonderful, plenty of walks. Yeah, I bet. She's been a wonderful assistant. So if you pop on here, Mrs. T, say hi. She's from Nigeria. Her and her husband have a church out here, and she's got videos too. But yeah, she was a great person to work with. Anyway, I'm going down. This is Desvin, oh, Spring Mountain. Damn it! But I'm gonna show you some other stuff on the other side of town here. But yeah, I really enjoy this town and the people in it. That was funny. Jerry, I know a while back you were asking me about Roman's Guitars too. I actually found that place and went in and checked it out. It's one of those stores that's just kind of open by appointment because, you know, it doesn't make sense to keep the doors open and a full-time cashier person because they just don't sell enough stuff. But I went there and got in and looked around, and they have some pretty sweet custom guitars. I wasn't a big fan of the style of custom stuff they do, but they have a website that's up with a lot of their inventory. But what they did have is a lot of really sick, classic Fender Strats, you know, stuff like that, you know what I mean? Vintage stuff. But they had a BC Rich Eagle in their bass, which I used to use back in the old Big Swifty days in Colorado, which I regret with every bone in my body for losing. It is just a wonderful bass. I sold it to some music store in Glenwood Springs, and some guy from Germany snapped it up because he was smart and took it home with him to Germany. And I was like, oh. You ever do that? You get rid of something and you just kick yourself for years. Kind of like that Fender Rhodes I traded to Jerry for a computer. I'd love to get that thing back, Jerry. If you're ever willing to part with it, I'd give you a good premium price for it. But no pressure whatsoever, because I actually have another Fender Rhodes. Oh, really? Where were you? Oh, Romans. Okay, yeah, you were telling me about it. They had some nice stuff in there, man. They had hey, what's up, Tammy? How you doing? Just hanging around Vegas. Out checking around some little scandalous little location tours, because I've had way too much coffee today and I kind of yacked up. Been stuck in the apartment for way too long. So I'm going to try to do this every single day, guys. Get out and I'm sitting right in front of the roads right now. Lovely, man. Well, if you ever want to trade or sell it, buddy, I'm down. No pressure, of course. That's no reason to avoid me. I'm never going to hit you up, but you know where to come if you do. Because I've actually got another one. I've got a Mark 1, late 70s Mark 1, but it's just a stage piano. Yeah, oh yeah, it's nice down here. At some point, I'm driving around. Yeah, you guys moved down here, I think you said, right? I think I'm gonna bounce up to northern Vegas, or north of Vegas tomorrow, everybody. I'm gonna go, if not tomorrow, early next week. I'm gonna go, there's some old gold rush towns up there. There's a place called Raylight and Goldview, and I'm gonna go do a lot of video work for some of the, oh, here's this Chinatown place, man, it's a trip. So you guys, if you're ever in town, this store. Oh yeah, you're playing a lot of music? Right on. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been there in this long. But this store, Gamers Paradise, holy hell, they had the most. I bought a couple of games for my old PS2, and I need to take my son Braden down here, because he would go ape, man. It's just like some of the most crazy vintage game stuff in there. I've never seen anything like it, and I've been into some pretty crazy stores. I'm not really into games so much. Maybe that's it. Yeah, it's near Beatty. That's right. That's it. Is that how you spell that? Because I want to get up there next week. I'm going to do some significant video. I'm going to do some history work on that, and kind of dig up some old stories and do a little investigation up there. Some of those old mine shafts and stuff, and apparently it's outstanding. And I've been there before. This is very interesting historical part of Nevada, but I don't remember enough about it. Yeah, Rolite, maybe that's it. Is that the correct spelling? Yeah, okay. Boulder Highway, yep. Yeah, that's right. It's a ghost town. I was told that one is a really well preserved ghost town. Goldville, I believe is what my dad called it. It's apparently just an amazingly interesting old westy town with some active businesses. You know, there's people that live there, but there's a really cool old hotel. And I got to get up there and film all this stuff. I got to see it. But I know Rowlight. Maybe that's it. My dad was calling it Raylight, but I don't see what else that could be. But anyway, Roman's Guitars was actually kind of down this way a little ways. Getting back to that story. But we're going to bounce over on the other side of town. Goldfield, okay. Okay, that's what Dad called it. Yeah, no, that's it. Right on. He told me he was going to text me those names, but Daddy Mortensen don't text. Machete don't text. Yeah, Romans is just over here. But, you know what I figured out, too? We're heading over towards Treasure Island and Wynn's. I figured out that Steve Wynn actually lives kind of close over towards me in a big gated community. I didn't realize that he was, like, involved in this crazy sex scandal a couple of years ago. Let's see. Belmont, near Tonopah. I'm not familiar with that one, but keep throwing that stuff out. I'll look into it. I'll check it all out. But here's Vegas, man. Just deader than that doornail, man. Clown Motel in Tonopah, too. Oh, that's where that clown place is. Sweet. Maybe I'll head up there and try to find that, too. Is that up that same direction off 95? Yeah, I'll look into that, man. I'll write all this stuff down when I get home and put it on my trusty notebook. Things to look for. Here's is this Paradise? Yeah, that's Las Vegas Boulevard. Not a lot of people. We got Chanel, Cartier, Louis Vuitton, Rolex. Lori. Last time I remember Vegas getting dark. Going dark was in 70. Oh, wow. Wait a minute. Which pitch black? Oh, like it was a power outage or something? Yeah, that'd be a trip. You know, this is Covell. This is the street that Tupac was killed right down there. Wow, look at all this stuff, man. It's like the Roman Colosseum. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? This is that rail system, that train, man. Bug out, man. I gotta try that. Me and my son were on the high roller recently. Travis has? Okay. Hey, Lori, I just talked to Travis. He was telling me to come out there. I think it was this week. He's like, dude, if you're bored, I got a week off. But sorry, I never called you back, Travis. I'm a little bit broke for a couple of days. But I will definitely come out and see you, man. I'll give you a call soon. Wow, flash flood. Yeah, there's all kinds of... Okay, so this is Paradise. Yeah, we're even close. This is Paradise. Lots of people waiting for the bus. Yeah, it was funny. I talked to Travis. I love that guy so much. He's such a great guy. Old buddy Travis. Saw him. I've seen him once in the past 3 years. But before that, I hadn't seen him in 20 years or something. But yeah, you know, if I go see Travis and his friends, I got to be prepared to party. That's why we love you, Travis. I know it's gonna be party time. I'll have to get lots of sleep and take my vitamins. Because you know, we're gonna be hitting the bars, I'm sure. What's that guy's got on his belt buckle? But Okay, so I'll tell you where I'm taking you real fast. I am going to take you down to Sonny Liston's house. I wrote down a whole list of like different places and addresses, and that's going to take me a week to do all this. But I've been finding loads of places to do videos on. I wanted to go to LA and go find Paul Schneider's house. Jerry and I were talking about a couple weeks ago. But I'm just afraid if I go into California, if I get in, I won't be able to get back into Nevada. Do you know what I mean? So I'm a little worried about that. Plus, there's a Hammond, Oregon shop in Redlands, California that they said they're doing appointments. You can go look at their warehouse. They've got a warehouse literally full of vintage, you know, B3s, C3s, Leslies of all different models, shapes, and sizes. You know, just incredible. And I would just love to go check all that stuff out, man. Just go fire them things out. Get them all howling in the warehouse, man. The howl of the wild Hammond. Okay, this is Maryland Parkway. Coming up on. It's getting hot, you guys. It's like, let's see. Oh, you know what? I can do this a little closer. Then we'll head back over that way. Yeah. There's so much to see in Nevada. I mean, I could spend months and months and months looking around stuff. That Brookey Lee West thing is a trip. You should look that lady up, Jeremy. Really creepy story. That's the just earlier in this video, I was just at the place where she kept her dead mother in the storage unit. Missed the flash flood. Yes, she did. Like we did for Carrie's. Oh, was that 2016? I guess it was. That's right, Carrie. How's Carrie doing? Everything going great with her? Carrie Scott. I'm friends with her on Facebook, but I haven't talked to Carrie in a long time. But Carrie's very cool. Very cool. Okay, so this is Flamingo. I believe it's actually Tropicana. We'll go check out Liberace's spot real fast. But you know what's crazy is I figured out that there's another guy, Binions. You've heard of Benny Binion and Teddy Binion. These old-timey. Benny is a casino executive, owner, clearly mobbed up with some of the Chicago guys and different dudes out here. Sounds like Benny was involved in a couple of murders for hires out here. You know, he sanctioned a couple of hits on different people, like somebody that had kidnapped, I think it was his daughter, and he found the guy. He paid for, I think, I might be getting this wrong, but he paid for it, whatever it was, which is a steep price, man. And then he had him whacked out anyway, so he got his money back, kind of thing. Liberace's. Yeah, we're going over there right now. Yeah, the Horseshoe and the Old Mint. Yeah, I was going to show you where the Gold Rush used to be too. The place that Tony Spilotro owned. I found that. It's just off Sahara as you come right over that bridge. Check the house. What? Crazy, I just texted you to check out this house and you said, oh yeah. I'm going to show you right now, Lori. I know exactly where it is. This is Tropicana. Yep. I always forget if he was on Tropicana or Flamingo, so might have to go back over there, but this is Tropicana. Can somebody look text real fast and tell me if Liberace's house, because he's on a street called Shirley Avenue, which is right off either Tropicana or Flamingo, and I think it's Tropicana, but I can't remember. And his museum, which I went to when it was open, The building is still down here too. It's pretty cool. I can't remember. This just doesn't look right. This is where down here. What is down here is the nightclub that Suge Knight owned down here called 662. That Tupac and him were going back to from leaving the MGM Grand after they had went to the Mike Tyson fight in 1996, and they basically just got, you know, they were blown away. Well, Tupac was blown away while they were sitting at an intersection on Covell down there. And I might be getting this street mixed too. Yeah, 4982 Shirley, that's right. But I think it's actually, damn it, I may have gotten on the wrong street. I can't remember. I'll recognize it as soon as I see it. Which isn't a big deal. I'll just go back the other way and check it out. I think I went too far for Liberace's house anyway. So that's not a problem. I'll just come back down. Yeah, it must be on Flamingo. Damn it, Magnum. Well, let's take a left here on Eastern. No cop, no stop. Better stop. It's a busy intersection. But Red Fox's house is down that way. Also, Sonny Liston's cemetery. A lot of celebrities buried in the cemeteries down by the airport. There's a couple of them. Red Fox is out there. Sonny Liston. Several other people. I used to have I've got all this paperwork from all that stuff because I went down there and pestered these nice ladies there. And they were like, it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, hey man, you know where all these dead people are, man? You know, I'm looking for Red Fox. And she's like, what you know about all these dead people, boy? Why you want to go looking for dead people? Well, it's what I like to do, man. I'm a death hag. What can I say? That was pretty funny. She's like, Go on with your death hagging self. But I had her laughing by the time I got out of there. I was joking around a lot. I had her on my side, and she eventually walked outside and showed me a few of them and pointed which directions to go. It was funny. You had to be there. You had to be there. It was funny. Never mind. Anyway, how's everybody doing? This is a beautiful day in Las Vegas. In glorious Las Vegas, as Mrs. T and I like to say. Look at this guy's got one of those big dog choppers right here. I think those things are so ugly. Ridiculous stretches on them. It's about 77 degrees according to my thing, but I think it's probably a little closer to 80 something degrees. Okay, we're gonna go find Liberace's pad real fast. Been there a bunch of times. I've done other videos on my Captain Borax channel. 2015, I did one on Red Fox and Liberace. Interesting stuff, you know. He basically took this house. He took I think it was 3 different houses and kind of morphed them together into one big house. And I mean, Liberace had houses all over the U.S. He had one in Milwaukee, where he was from. He had a couple in L.A. He had one here in Vegas. You know, I think he had one in Florida. You know, places like that. And I mean, he literally owned 7 mansions. And even though this particular place, you know, it looks enormous on videos you see, but it's funny. It's not as big as you might think. But Liberace, think about it. I mean, really, how much money could he have been making? Oh, Palm Springs was another place. That's where he died. Serial Killer Movie Fest. Get turned around, forgive me, I'll sign off, find it, and go back and see it later, but I'm pretty sure it's on Flamingo here, because that other Tropicana just didn't look right. No, what Liberace's deal was, is he, when television first started, you know, it was kind of a big medium, you know, for entertainment in the early 1950s. He was one of his show, the Liberace show. Why did they let this one go to shit? Liberace's house? He had a syndicated show starting in the early 50s. It ran all the way through the 60s, right? I mean, like 20 years. The longest running syndicated thing, you know, I mean, longer than Hee Haw, which was like 25 years or something crazy like that. And he owned almost all of it. He had owned almost all the shares in it. And supposedly, the story was, you know, back in the early 1950s when he was living in Los Angeles, you know, he's just doing a lot of records. Between his records and his live appearances and TV appearances on various night shows for years and years, his live performances all over the world, in the country, in Vegas, and all the syndicated material that he owned with early television. He snapped up tons of shares on his show and other shows too. Like, you know, he owned television. You know, because I always thought it was kind of weird. How much money could this guy be making? You know, he's got this kind of corny act, you know, which I really enjoy. But it's, you know, let's face it, Liberace was a little bit corny. But he had this extravagant lifestyle, you know. I mean, he, you know, these mansions, and he had that crazy Bentley, you know, that stretch Bentley, and, you know, fur coats and gaudy jewelry, but at the end of the day, he was just you know, he was a nice Polish boy who loved his mother and was from Milwaukee, and you know, and he liked to, he put out cookbooks, I think, too. He even had a cooking show. You know, he was very, very successful with business, turning his celebrity into a money-generated medium, you know. I mean, seriously, you think about it, you go to the thrift store, and you know how I do anyway, I flip through the old records, and there are just hundreds of old records from the 60s and 50s, and half of them will be Liberace albums. I mean, the guy put out dozens of albums, you know, that don't have any resale value whatsoever now, but back in his day, you know, he was making a lot of money. It's pretty interesting. This place is supposed to be really good. I've never been there. The Blueberry Hill Family Restaurants. Maybe when the Armageddon is over, I'll go try it. When we're gonna, it's a good question though. When are they gonna start blinging up the those masks, man? Making like little, you know, would think someone would have kept her his iconic blingy self in Vegas house. Oh, you know what? And I'm glad you said that, because they actually did. Yeah, he had at least one place. Death Hack. Oh, really? Did you? Oh, that's right. You went there. I didn't know you took the tour, though. That's how, I love how Frank Collada says tour. I called Frank Collada up, you know, the old mobster. And I said, hey, man, I'd love to take your tour. You know, I just chatted with him for a while, and he's fun. He's like, oh, yeah, you want to take my tour? And I said, oh, heck yes. And then you know, he wasn't going to let me film it you know, he said, well, I don't let people film my tour, you know. I mean, you're only paying this much money. I won't tell you how much I paid him for just a tour. And then I said, well, how about if I throw this money on there? Oh, by the way, that's where Frank Culada's, I'll go back there. That's where Culada's bar was, or his restaurant. Culada said, I threw some extra money on it. I said, well, what if I throw this money at you? Would you let me video it then? And he says, what? You'll give me this? I love money. Yeah, you can film anything you want. It was so funny. The way he said it, just hearing an old mobster, you know, they hear dollar signs clicking, and then the guy just starts, I can hear his smile over the phone. Oh, I love money. Ding, 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 ding. That was so funny. Anyway, you guys are gonna hate me, but this is the wrong street too. I was on the right street in the first place. But I tell you what I'll do. I'll flip around here. I'll show you Culada's restaurant, the Upper Crust, real fast, and then I'll take you over to Liberace's pad, because now I know where it is. Yeah, this isn't right. I always got to remember Shirley Avenue, which is right off the last major street, Tropicana, south on the Strip. So help me remember that, people. I do a lot of this stuff just for fun, you know. I like seeing where crazy stuff happened, or old stories and history. My dad's a historian, and you know, he gave me the history bug young, you know, and thank you for that, Dad. It's the gift of beautiful history, good, bad, whatever. History is it's where it's at. It's what feeds my soul. I love it. Art and history, those two things, and I found a way in recent years to put them together through video tours on my Captain Borax channel, which has just been a blast. And you know, it doesn't pay squat, but it's just so fun. It's fun. You know, you gotta have things in your life that feed your soul, right? I believe so, anyway. Oh, here's one of those. You want to smoke on the you gotta sit on the steps for that $99 move-in special, man. This is a pretty cool pawn shop. I love that pawn shops are open too. Thank God for that, man. I gotta check out this boot store. I need some new snakes, man. But let me show you Frank Culada's place real fast. Yeah, it does. You're right. It's fun, you know. It's a fun hobby. And you know, some people would say that what I'm doing is journalism, which I guess it is, you know. But I don't really look at it that way, although essentially that's what it is. But okay, so this is the cricket store. This cricket store right here is where Frank Culada's Upper Crust bar was. Restaurant. I keep calling it a bar, but it was a restaurant. An Italian restaurant back in the early 1980s. He and Tony Spilotro and some of his other partners like Leo Gardino and all those guys, they're all mobbed up. You know, Tony Spilotro was a straight up mobster from the Chicago outfit, all through the 70s. He moved out here in like 72, somewhere around then, on orders from the Chicago outfit guys, Tony Accardo, Joey Iupa, all those cats, those old school mobsters, you know. They sent him out here to defend the skim of the Stardust Casino and the Fremont and other places. Although Culada told me that it was only the Stardust. I have a hard time believing that, because they had at least 4 casinos out here. One was the Hacienda and the Marina, I think. The Fremont, Marina, Hacienda, and Stardust. And Frank has a pretty interesting YouTube channel. by the way, too, called Coffee with Culado, which I always plug because it's really fun. He's got a funny little thing going. It's fun, you know, a lot of interesting mafia history from the outfit days. But this is the restaurant that he owned. It was called the Upper Crust. You know, a casino when you see Joe Pesci and Frank Vincent throwing Sharon Stone out of it. That didn't really happen like that. But this is the restaurant. And I've got pictures of the Upper Crust when it was there. But apparently Jerry Hall, what was her name? No, it wasn't Hall. It was Jerry McGee. Jerry McGee, who was, how you doing? She was a former model. Is basically like a high-end, let's just be brave and say it. I mean, she's dead, and a lot of the people she was associated with are dead too, like Frank Rosenthal. And she was basically a high-end hooker. Former model from Los Angeles, and she dropped by here one time after she had stormed Sam Rothstein's house, Frank Rosenthal's house, and took a bunch of money and a key for a safety deposit box that she had at a local bank, and I can show you that too sometime. And dropped by here to talk to Tony Spilotro, who apparently was hanging out in the dive bar next door. This bar was here then. It wasn't, I don't know if it was called the dive bar, but apparently they have hot slots, cheap shots, and live music. Culado was saying that the FBI also, this Hollywood furniture shop here, he said they got in there with those people, you know, when it was a different shop, and they hey, what's up, Steve Jacobs? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. They actually wired up a camera, strung it along all the way over to the Upper Crust, and put a camera in the back room with you know, I'm assuming it had some audio set up too, and those guys found it. And Tony Spilotro took it, and you know, eventually the FBI came in and said, hey, we want our camera back. And Frank stonewalled him and said, I don't know what you're talking about, blah blah blah, and eventually he ended up giving it back to him. But that's a really funny story. Apparently there was a bank too. I want to say it was right here in this parking lot. There's a bank right here. I think this is it. And the FBI were on the roof watching his store all the time, right? And when they were on the roof, somebody actually came into the goddamn bank and robbed the teller while they were up there, and they didn't even know it happened. It's crazy, because they were watching, they were so intently watching the Upper Crust, which was Frank's Italian restaurant. And I asked him about it on the tour, and I said, God, man, you know, do you have any old menus, things like that? And he's like, I do somewhere. And I said, well, you know what you ought to do is a cookbook, kind of like Henry Hill did, which I would love to get a copy of. And he said he's putting one together. But pretty cool, huh? This is it. This is where the Upper Crust was. And I get, Frank was saying this place too, the dispensary building right here. Years ago, in the early 80s, they were actually putting something new in there. And he found out that it was an Italian restaurant. And he and Spilotro and some other guys actually burned it down. Anyway, all right. This chick looks like she's doing something shady. That's one thing about Vegas, man. There's always something shady going on around here. Look, that girl, she's doing something shady. She just signaled something to this guy right here. He waved her off. Something shady going on. All right, let's go over to Lib's pad, man. Anyway, Steve Jacobs, my long lost brother. How you doing, man? Great to see you on here. You should come hang out with us out here in Las Vegas, man. Just don't be stuck up, man. Come on out here and hang out. I'll tell you, folks, I've been having a blast. I'm gonna have to flip a Yui up here. Maybe I'll go up one more street and then go over. I've been having a blast playing my my Hammond organ. I don't know if you know what those are, but it's like that classic gospel church type organ. It was 1949. It's so old. It's before they had percussion units even, which are the really high selling points, even though it sounds great, but it doesn't have the percussion, which is kind of what they have on B3s. This makes C3s and B3s and A100s so popular. But this thing sounds amazing. I've got a 2-speed Leslie that I run a 1/4-inch jack out to with the Leslie pedal, like a preamp pedal. And it's just so incredible, man. You get sucked into that thing, and I'll just sit around cranking that thing, just playing old songs, and just having fun. It's really fun. And I have that Fender Rhodes too, like I was telling Jerry. But anyway, we are going up Flamingo, and I'm gonna go up a little bit further, take a left, and then I'll show you Lib's house, which is just up the way. Yeah, it kind of seems like the hookers are kind of out in force. That girl seemed like she was doing something kind of shady. Some sort of drug dealer, something going on, something shady. I guess that's Las Vegas, so you know. Wow, that's pretty trippy. What is that? Could try Palos Verdes. Nah. Anybody said y'all are kind of quiet? Let's go down Paradise. This is a kooky street. Definitely see some kooky people on the street, which is a selling point. There's a Hard Rock Cafe right there where Entwistle died. Hard Rock Hotel, anyway. And I did find that Entwistle's room pretty interesting. Actually got to see the inside of it too from the lobby. I just peeked my head in. There were some guys' clothes laying on a chair, and I was like, oh snap. But if they hadn't have been there, I'd have walked right in and filmed the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? Because the maid just opened the door for me. I just walked right in. You have to, in a lot of the hotels, you have to have your key will run the elevator and stuff like that, but you can't get up it unless you have that. And so you just wait till some people pull up, in the lobby, and just ride right up with them. And that's what we did. He lived on, I believe his room was 658, something like that. I can go home and look it up. But yeah, I got to see inside Entwistle's. Serial killers, in Vegas, there's a lot of history here. I don't know too much about serial killers. What's her name? Brookey Lee West. You should look her up. She's definitely a very creepy, sick individual who murdered her mother here and kept her mother's dead body inside a storage unit in a garbage can, and so she could keep collecting her Social Security checks. But and she's also believed to have killed her brother and her husband. Pretty scary stuff. And then she tried to escape from prison and almost got away from prison. She almost walked right out the front doors when people were distracted and she was up there for some reason. lots of mobster stuff. Yeah, there's all kinds of crazy stuff here. But serial murder, I'm not thinking, maybe not so much. Just a lot of like old classic Hollywood, Vegas scandal, crazy stuff has happened here in this place over the years. Loads of it. But I'm going to take you over and show you Liberace's museum and his house real fast before I wrap this video up. I've been yapping. I'm getting kind of tired of hearing my own voice, you know what I mean? But this is Paradise Avenue. Look up Stephen Morin. Who's that? Sickly cool. Oh, Brookey Lee West. I'll look up Stephen Morin. Remind me who that is. That name sounds really familiar. This is Harmon Avenue. Like, if you go up this way, it runs up between, I can't remember the two casinos, but that's where Tupac and Suge were pulled over. Brookey Lee West, yes. Brookey, yep, you spelled it right. Brookey Lee West. Now, we're really close to Liberace's. I'll definitely take you over there. That's the airport out that way, and he was really, really close to the airport. And I should have kept that in mind, too. And I know exactly where he lives. Once I see it, I'll... Problem is I can't remember if it was down. I think it's a little bit further down here. So I'm going to come down here. Wow, this is a big ass street. It's like 6 lanes. What the fuck? I love these liquor stunts. This guy, Lee's Discount. Check this out. It's hilarious. You look like I need a drink. Lee's Discount Liquor. Oh. I'm reading your thing, Steve. Holy cow. Mark my words. I think educating would be great, but no lockdowns. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, Steve. I feel the same way about it, buddy. In LV, Colorado, Texas, really. Yeah, I'll look him up for sure. And we'll make that for another day. There is so much crazy, scandalous history in this town, and it's just, you know, the COVID-19 bullshit, you know, mania, you know, it's at least made it able for me to take some time off to start looking into this stuff, you know. Oh, sorry. Campus of UNLV. UNLV over here. I forgot about that. It's over here. I haven't been over on the side of town in a while. Yeah, right on, Lori. Yeah, check them out. Brookey Lee West. She's a creepy one. I found a bunch of information on her. Her father was basically he got her really into, you know, raised her, you know, to study Satanism and witchcraft and violence, you know, that kind of, that, you know, all that bullshit propaganda by, what was that old dead bald guy, that British guy who was really, Jimmy Page owned his house for a while, Aleister Crowley, that kind of crap. And her mother was like an abusive alcoholic, and apparently her dad actually helped her attack somebody. I can't remember what it was, rob somebody, and she actually shot this, or her dad shot this old woman in the chest with a .22 and killed her, I think. So they could rob her. I mean, it's really twisted, dark stuff, man. Very creepy case. But her, you know, later on, she was living with her mother, and her mother, she killed her mother, basically suffocated her and stuffed her in a garbage can and wrapped the whole thing up to try to make it airtight with duct tape, if you can believe that. I mean, just really dark stuff. And she was found out when the body
began to stink. You know, these guys told the police. They opened it up, pulled the can open, and you know, it was just juices and maggots pouring out of this guy. I mean, just disgusting. Really, really gnarly. Just so she could collect her Social Security checks. And then she killed her husband and dumped him near a campground in Springville, California, which I want to say is kind of up north by Sacramento. Well, I'm not positive on that. I have to do some more look. But we're really close to Liberace's pad. He's just right down here, I'm pretty sure. I better stop yapping and keep my eye out, because you guys are probably getting sick of this shit. I start talking so much and I forget where I am. It's possible he's back there, back that way, but his museum, his museum for sure is just right down here. And if his museum, I find it down here, I know where his house is, which is back the other way. I'll show you his museum first. I believe that's, yeah, I think his museum is actually in this place. Yeah, I went too far, but I'll show you his museum first. Okay, so this is Liberace's museum, which he actually, I went here once when it was still open, ago maybe, and he got this old beat up Queen Virgin Remy, whatever that is. And what is an escape room? The subway escape room. I don't even know. Trippy, man. But look, they even still have a picture of Lib up there on the wall. Here, I'll jump out and show you it. But I went here when the place was still open, and he had been dead, but they were still doing tours here, you know. Now it's the adult daycare. Golden Days adult daycare. Say what? That's just creepy. What the fuck is an adult daycare? But if you came here back in the 80s, before Lib died, he just lived right up the way up here, and I apologize for keep missing that, but what is that? I gotta know more of this adult daycare thing's a trip. Golden Days Behavioral Center. Let's look at their sign for a minute. I mean, this is too trippy. What are they talking about? This is like some weird sex thing. Kinky sex thing. Oh, okay. Caregivers provide services for individuals, couples, peers, groups, family, teens, and adult and the elder. Okay, so it's not as perverted as I thought. Thank God. But look, there's Liberace right there. But apparently you could come here, and I think he opened it around 77. And you would come down here and he would actually be here taking tickets, working behind the counter, and he would sit and chat with you. Which is, I mean, extremely cool. I mean, how cool is that? You show up because you're a big fan from wherever the hell you are, and you go to his museum and he's there and he's chatting with you. I mean, that would be really cool. Apparently he was a really nice guy. Everybody says so. It is interesting. It's all like that tile. There's no reason to ever... Yeah, it's just tile. Giant Liberace tile. No reason to take that down. It's so cool. And look at this big, beautiful, mirrored type thing. Esther's African Hair Braiding. And now it's called Mia's Banquet Hall. And for a long time it was like a... You could put your... your weed in there. Apparently it was like one of those buildings where Hispanically owned, with, you know, people do the big quinces and stuff like that. And hey, everybody, Ruby's Banquet Hall. But if you look, some homeless guys, you can. This was Liberace actually owned this place, and if you look at this old like Italian stuff. Hi. Isn't that beautiful? It's like this old gilded. How are you?
Yes, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Oh God, lay off the fucking Ben Gay. I love those gates. This is beautiful stuff, man. But what's neat, the reason this is so interesting is clearly Liberace designed this place. Tell by this, just these. Like I'll show you his house in a few minutes. The guy has actually restored it, but he's got the most beautiful. This is really neat. Iron gated doors. I don't think you can see anything in there. Kind of can. You guys kind of shut down, but yeah, I guess you can. Kind of see that. That was his museum. I went in there one time and they had a couple of his Rolls Royces. That famous video of him and Scott Thorson. It was an interesting story too, by the way. That guy, he was rolled up in that Eddie Nash stuff. He was a cokehead back in those days, in the early 1980s. The Wonderland murders. But Scott Thorson was Liberace's boyfriend, and he's the guy that when they did the movie about him recently with Michael Douglas, one that Matt Damon played, where they actually. Liberace apparently actually made him, well, they didn't make him, but had him do plastic surgery to look like Liberace. Oh my God, I'm so good. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make my kids do that. I'm going to make my son, Braden, I'm going to make him get plastic surgery so he looks like me. But I'm just kidding, Braden. But I went in this place. It was pretty cool, and they were really weird about picture taking and stuff. But of course, I took some when they weren't looking. But it was actually really neat. My sister Maria bought this really funny, like a refrigerator magnet of Liberace wearing those hot pants and marching with the flag or whatever it was, the marching band thing. It was pretty funny. But we both went in there and laughed a lot. I'll have to tag you in this later, Maria. Well, you guys are real gluttons for punishment, man. We'll do some more of this in the next few days. You're not going to make Roxy do that, Lori? You're going to make Roxy get plastic surgery to look like you? I know. Make Braden look like liver. Oh my God. Or Scott Thorson. Oh, good Lord. One time I came down, we're going to Liberace's house right away now. The one time he did come here, like maybe 15 years ago, I found his house, and the place was like falling apart, man. It was a bug out. This guy's old Nova. It's cool. I want to get a Borax mobile for see that car back there behind the truck, or the Jeep, or whatever. I want to get one of those and turn it into a video car, kind of a Borax mobile. Maybe that's a Ford Fairmont. Yeah, it's a Ford. No, it's a Chevy. I was right. But I came down here and his house was there, and what was crazy was literally just falling apart, man. Like just old paint peeling up on the sides of it. Bird convoy. Oh my God, Jay Leno. Oh my God. Or what was that crazy doctor on like The End, or what was that other jacked up movie? That Burt Reynolds movie, the one Dom DeLuise, that doctor who was taking care of the elephant. The guy with the big eyebrows. I could have him look like that guy. Okay, I'm looking for Shirley Avenue. I'm gonna pay attention. Jay Leno, oh my god. Woo! Having so much fun here. It's a beautiful day in Las Vegas, people. I ain't lying. It's kind of weird though, man. I'm not kidding. You know, just being here and everything's. Paul Lynde. No, it wasn't Paul Lynde, but that would be great. I love Paul Lynde. Jackie Lum, is that who it is? That sounds right. He had those crazy eyes that were like, he was cross-eyed and those crazy eyebrows, and he was always running around with a stethoscope, you know. I think we're really close. Okay, Wilbur, this looks familiar. It's one of these side streets right here. I think this might be Shirley Avenue right here. Man, let's see how good my memory is. No, we're close though. Beck. We're very close. It's right around this area. Hey Christian, what's up, man? There's a lot of bored people in Facebook land. I get it, me too, you know. That's why I do this stuff. I gotta feed the weirdness dragon, you know. Okay, damn it, I think I might have went too far because this is the airport. Yeah, damn it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. It's right back in that neighborhood where I just was. Oh, that's right. I was supposed to go out back because I think Shirley is just right there. Yeah, I went too far because this is the Hojo up here. Hang on. I'm gonna flip a B right up here. Damn it, I'm so sorry. This has been like a mission impossible to find Liberace's bed, but it's just right back here around the other way. Yeah, Jackie Lum, that's funny, man. I always thought that guy was so kooky. Alright, we're so close. Hang with me. Hang with me. Got the Hard Rock over there. Good old Vegas. I really like this town. I gotta say, you know, I don't do a whole lot of partying. I don't gamble. You know, I'm pretty easygoing. Hell, I'm a school teacher. I'm a mild-mannered school teacher. But I gotta say, I love the vibe out here. It's very California vibey. It speaks to me, man. I love the desert. Like I said, next week I'm gonna go up north and go find those towns, Raylight and I'm gonna write those town names down. It's not Goldville. You said it was something else. Okay, so this is Paradise. I'll try to remember that. And Shirley Avenue is just off to the right here. Very, very close. Palo Verde. And you'll be really surprised that he lives down here, because you're thinking, wow, Liberace, really rich guy. Rich, famous show business kind of character. Why would he live in this dumpy neighborhood near the airport? And the truth is he just really, I'm gonna go down the street. I think this is it, folks. Take a peek. The truth is he just wanted to live close to work. You know what I mean? Maybe they changed the name of the street, because this looks really familiar. He just wanted to live close to his museum and the strip. Do you know what I mean? He wanted to live close enough that he could just bounce over to either one. God, this isn't it, man. What the hell? Oh, here it is. Yeah, here's Shirley Avenue. This is Liberace's house right here. This big white thing. I knew it was right here. But Shirley, I thought, went through there. Surely it didn't. But I've seen video of him. You know, there's a video on YouTube that's hilarious where he's like sitting in a bathtub, a big tub that's apparently right behind that door, and uses like bubbles flying up in there, and He's swatting at him. But this is where he parked his big schwank, that big Bentley that he's got on. There's a live video you can also find on YouTube where he's walking out of this house. And this apparently, I think I've seen pictures of that Bentley parked there. But he had this was a glommed together house of like 3 smaller houses. I mean, look at this neighborhood. It's really just kind of, really? No trespassing, weeds growing up everywhere. It's not a very nice place. Very working class. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I'd live here, but it's not somewhere you think you'd see Liberace, you know what I mean? But this is it. Who owns this place? I spoke with him briefly, and he wasn't interested in letting me come in and look around. But yeah, he was a nice guy. He was polite, but he wasn't trying to do that. But these see these L's on the fence, these gold L's. When I came here the first time, they were rusty and chipping. Yeah. They fixed it up, Lori. Somebody bought this place, and they do some sort of events here, and I think they're probably private events. But I was going to actually take one of these L's off, because those are the original L's that Liberace himself put there. But I can't do that. As much as I like to grab souvenirs, I'm not a destructive, vandalistic person. But that goes right into his big bathroom, and apparently there's like a Sistine Chapel painted on the roof. You know, the classic painting of God or whatever it is, the finger pointing at. That's where his big whirlpool is. Look at this neighborhood, man. It's just nothing special. It's kind of dumpy. But he also, I don't know, what is this? Not a partnership for homeless youth. All this stuff is very, very Liberace. This is all authentic, man. Because I've been here when it was falling apart. They put in the sod and stuff. That's all new. Because I think he had like a xeriscaping in here, believe it or not. But look at this gate in the front door. These gold leaves. Yeah, 1962, Liberace. He built it in 62. That's his front door. Has been placed on the Clark County Register of Historic Places on March 2nd, 2016. The building was cited for its outstanding historical and cultural significance. Clark County, Nevada. Pretty cool, right? Oh, and the door is opening. I swear to God, look, the door just opened. Really? I'm gonna get out. What if he invites me in? Wow, he might let me in. The door. Look at the door just opened while I was talking. I swear to God. Look at, there's a piano in there with a candelabra. What? Can you see it? See the piano with the candelabra? That door just kind of swung open and there's nobody there. What a trip. Oh my God. Well, yeah, you used to be able to walk right up, like these gates were, it was down over on this side, I think. But look. It just, that door swung open. What the hell? It's awesome. But he, look up here, there's the classic solarium. There's video of him hanging around up there, watering his plants and just entertaining his friends. And the Liberace, man. But it was apparently just a glommed up building. Look at these marble, what do you call them, columns. Beautiful, and it's stained glass with the leaded sections. I hope this guy's not getting mad at me. That was weird, that door just opened like that. What in the heck? That was so bizarre. There's where Lib probably kept his garbage cans down there. No, that's seriously, Lori, that just opened up, man, when I was just standing there. The door just kind of went, but there's nobody there. You can see some of the, like he's got something up there in the window. The solarium, but I mean, look at this neighborhood. Look at these houses. Just weeds growing up. You want me to zoom in again on the door? Hang on. You can see a piano and his and a candelabra in there. Hang on. Now look. You see the piano and the candelabra? That is really cool. I can't believe. Hi. Uh-oh, am I in trouble? Hi. I thought you worked here for a second or something. Was coming around to yell at me, but thanks for letting the door open, you guys, letting us see a peek inside. It'd be wonderful to come here and do an interior location of this sometime. I'll have to contact these folks and all this Corona bullshit. When Armageddon is over, look at the palm trees, man. I mean, come on, dude, this is beautiful. But it's fun because the neighborhood is really kind of dumpy, you know. Wow, that is so bizarre. All right, guys, I think I'm going to call it. I'm kind of sick of yakking. Just reporting from Liberace's neighborhood, Shirley Avenue, off Tropicana. There's Tropicana. You guys have a great day.